Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Appreciate you guys coming down to Grassroots Garden Center for our seminar today with Mr. Gerald Stephens. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for some fall time weather. I am over summer already. And for you avid gardeners, y'all know that fall that's planting time, and so that's what Mr. Gerald is going to talk to us about today. And we've got some coffee and donuts, if you haven't already discovered that, right over here to the side. And then after the seminar, I'll invite you guys to just mill around the nursery, make yourselves at home. They cleaned up our stream down in the Japanese garden area yesterday. Got it looking wonderful. So I encourage you guys to walk around, enjoy yourselves, make yourselves at home. And without further ado, I will turn it over to you, buddy.
All right, thank you. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. And I'm not coughing a lot. Thank you.
A little bit. I think it's okay.
Okay. Fall is a fantastic time in the nursery business. We used to have a national nursery association. Probably still do. I don't know. I haven't seen much about it. But we had a logo or a slogan that was "Fall is for planting," and it really is. There are several reasons. Two of the main reasons are it takes less water because it's cooling off. Now we wish we had more rain, but we don't. And then another thing, in the south and in the southeast, the roots continue to grow on most things all winter. So you plant them in the fall and they establish a root system, so when spring comes, it's ready to go. So, but I would still water it through the spring too. But that's one of the main reasons, and so it's so neat to do it here. So we try to get that, y'all customers are a little bit hard-headed, but none of y'all are, I'm sure. But we try to really get fall built up to be a great time. And October is about it. And then November is all the Thanksgiving and Christmas takes up. And then before that, like September, is so hot. I mean, what's going to be in the 90s all week? I mean, pretty much all week. So fall is a great time to plant, and so you can plant and all. There's a lot you can do, Courtney and I that makes my beautiful outlines. I've got our wires towed across this week, so I had to make my own without her help. She makes me look so good because she does it so well. All right, let me go over a few things. Fertilizing in the fall is not a good idea. Grass does not need fertilizing in the fall. You don't want to stimulate it, and then, of course, frost comes and it's stimulated, and you hurt your grass. So fall is not a good time to fertilize. All the fertilizer programs show fall as a good time to fertilize for winterizing. Well, I've been at it 51 years, but we had one time, it was a company that made it for us, and it was like a 014. So that does not stimulate it, but it hardens it off kind of. But you can't find that anymore. So it's best not to fertilize it in the fall on the grass. Okay, fertilizing on plants. Okay, now that's a touchy thing. You do not want to stimulate them, but if you'll notice azaleas in particular start looking real poorly in like a lot of those will drop off. And it's lack of nutrition in the soil. So by using the 12-month stuff they're selling now, if you use that, it's going to take care of it. And azaleas are notoriously heavy feeders. And if you haven't fertilized them already, wait another 2 weeks or so. And you can put it out in October. Because, see, by then, you're not going to stimulate new growth. And it will give you the nutrition. Also, I've limed them at this time of year. Now, lime won't stimulate new growth at all, but liming will give it the nutrition. A lot of times, lime will straighten it out totally. And you're talking about liming azaleas, and people think you're crazy, but we lime azaleas, and it makes a huge difference. If you don't believe me, lime half of them, or lime a few of them, and don't lime the rest, and in 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be back for some lime, because you will notice the difference. But why, okay, I want to go over the little rule I always had, 2 steps, 2 steps to a green thumb. How many of y'all remember 2 steps to a green thumb? Okay. Number 1, whenever you plant anything, simple, a tomato plant, plant it shallow with the top of the dirt showing. That is extremely important. I was at a seminar this week with the South Carolina Nursery Fall Field Day, and it was real good. It was well attended, probably 400 or 500 people there. We had the seminars, which is great, but one of them, he drew a chart, and he showed the plant about this high up, and he, because when you plant it level, which is really what you want, if you're not careful, it'll settle. And then when it settles, it's too deep, dirt can wash over it. And so you want it high so that it, like Schuford, my son that works here, he says, plant it too low, it won't grow. Plant it too high, it won't die. So if you plant it too high, it won't hurt it. So make sure you plant shallow. The next rule of the thumb, that's the first one. The second one is water. Okay, still right now when it's in the 90s, you need to be watering a new planted plant. Like if you buy one today, you want to water it every day for about 8 weeks, but this time of year, you're not going to have to go 8 weeks. But the amount of water, if you've got a 3-gallon can plant, you want about 1.5 gallons, or no, a third of a gallon of water every day for 8 weeks. That's going to get it established. And this time, of course, mid-October, you probably go every other day, so not for 8 weeks. But you still need to keep watering it regular until the 8 weeks is up, and then you want to keep on watering it some anyway, a couple of times once a week. So be careful there to do that. Yes, ma'am.
What do you do fertilize when you planted plants, don't you?
You do. My only thing is, yes, you do. If you use the 12-month feed they've got, or the 3 to 4 months, either one of those, they don't give you a quick stimuli. They're engineered so that when you fertilize them, the cooler the weather gets, the less it releases. But it still gives that plant enough, because you want it to establish a root system and all. And so yes, you do want to fertilize it when you plant it. We always mix with the 12-month feed. We mix 2 cups of lime and 1 cup of that fertilizer and mix it in, and then we use like a proportion, like a cup or so of that with the plant in the hole mixed in the dirt. And that's anything you plant.
I'm pansies right now.
Okay, pansies, right. Pansies are a heavy feeder too. If you don't don't give them enough fertilizer, and that stuff is great for pansies. 2149. It's incredible because pansies, if you're not careful, they'll just kind of sit there and won't do anything. But if you fertilize them with that and the lime, it'll take them all through spring. And in the spring, they start kind of yellowing a little bit on you, but if you've got that 12-month stuff on there, they won't. And it'll really make them jump. So that stuff is very good for that. Trying to get my outline here, and I'm going to skip around too much. It's not terrible. Okay. Fall pruning. We do not prune in the fall. Okay? And every mow and blow guy that comes in your yard wants to prune everything you've got. Okay, let me tell you why. First of all, you've got hydrangeas, azaleas, gardenias.
Camellias.
What else?
Camellias.
Camellias, yeah. Well, I hope they won't prune these. Well, they will. They will. You know that. All those have sent flower in the fall for next year. Hydrangeas, I try to cut you off July 4th. That's my date to remember, is don't prune hydrangeas after July 4th. Now, it depends on the hydrangea. The limelights, that style of hydrangea, the full sun hydrangeas, the pedunculatas, they want to be pruned in like February, and you can prune them real heavy. And it's good for them too. Prune them almost to the ground, the limelight styles. Now, you don't have to prune them then, but they'll just keep getting bigger and bigger. But if you prune them, if you prune a regular hydrangea now, you're not going to have flowers this year. And people tell me all the time, my hydrangeas are gorgeous. They don't have any flowers on them. I said, when did you prune? Well, I prune them in the fall, you know. I said, yeah, that's the problem. And see, that old man you're married to, he sees those buds sticking up there, those little ugly stems sticking up there, and he's got to cut them. He just got to cut them. And when you do that, you don't have flowers next year. There's some of the newer varieties, like in the summer, and several of the others, they will rebloom on new growth. In other words, most hydrangeas, the mop heads set flowers on the old growth. But the endless summer, and there's a lot of those that will bloom on new growth, so you can prune those, but don't. There's another reason why you don't prune in the fall. First of all, you're going to cut off flowers that you don't want, like gardenias, hydrangeas, azaleas, and camellias. I hope no idiots out there going to prune a camellia, because he'll see the bud up there and he'll cut that off too. But the other reason is when you prune in the fall, it does not have time. Well, first of all, it might have time if you prune in August or September. It'll sprout. And then what's going to happen to that brand new little tender sprout? The cold's going to kill it. So that's not good. Just think like a plant, okay? All right, so you don't want to prune for that reason, but also, okay, let's say we wait till October, because it's not going to sprout now, see? So you prune it in October, and you got that naked stem all winter long. It just starts dehydrating back, dying, and finally spring comes to sprout down here, and you got a dead stuff. And you'll see that all the time. You'll see these dead stuff, and you wonder, where did those come from? Well, you pruned in the fall when they shouldn't have been pruned, or pruned in the winter even. Now, we wait till about February to start doing any kind of pruning. But then you got to be careful. Pruning is a huge, that's one of our favorite seminars that we give in January usually. But it's so much to know about it, because you've got things that bloom on new growth, things that bloom on old growth. Like a rose, they are the toughest things in the world, I think, until they get black. But They, if you prune those, you prune those at almost any time. And crepe myrtles, please don't prune crepe myrtles, but if you do, yes.
But my crepe myrtles now has bark scale.
Okay, I've got that on my list to talk about.
Okay.
I learned, I called Dr. Chung last week. He's used to be the head entomologist for scale insects and things like that at Clemson. Now he's a private company he works for, a big company he works for. But I called him and he told me what to do. And then he had a seminar at this fall field day that was great. He told what to do there. And I'm going to show you how to do it right here. It's a problem, yes ma'am.
So my azaleas look absolutely gorgeous right now.
Right.
They're full of blooms. They're great. They're just getting way too big.
All right.
Way too
The
big.
best thing to do is either wait till next spring after they bloom or put them heavily in February.
In
You
February,
may not
I
have
don't
one.
mind pruning them, but if I wait until February, I can prune them back.
Yes, all you want.
Yeah.
And I would suggest, do we have any, I think M45 over there?
Yeah, I believe we brought some in.
Good. Okay, when you prune azaleas heavy, spray them immediately with that diethane M45 to keep dieback out. I'm going to tell you what dieback looks like, but you want to get it on those cuts. And you use a spreader sticker with it, otherwise it won't stay on there good.
Okay.
But when you cut them back heavily, spray with that diethane M45, and that will help subdue the dieback. Okay, you got a bed of azaleas, and you look over here, there's a dead limb or a big portion of one that's dead. That's probably the beginning stage of the dieback. And so every time you prune, if you'll spray them with that diethane M45, that will help. All right, now there's two other things, well, there's two other times that it can happen. All right, you know, I've told you about these azaleas in the fall, and they get that, those leaves start falling out of them, the yellow leaves or the red leaves. Well, that little hole, when that leaf falls out, leaves that little hole in the stem, that's a normal thing. You know, it's not like a scar, but it's an open wound. That's another time you need to be spraying with diethane M45. And in the spring too, if you get any leaf fall, that's when you spray. But especially when you prune. It's hard to hit it with the leaf fall, but you can definitely hit it with the when you prune. So use that diethane M45 with a spreader stick. So if you want to cut them back heavy, wait till February. You can whack them back way back, but you got to be careful with make sure you spray for it. Yes.
About pruning, azaleas are no later than 4th of July. I know that.
Right, you can a little bit in August. Go ahead.
What about gardenias that, like our gardenias don't bloom until the end of May and June?
Well, there again, you want to do it in July. No later, because they set flowers in the fall. Well, what you want to do is go set flowers in the fall, so you got to wait for them. I mean, you can't prune them later than July.
Well, I just pruned them because they were
Okay.
they were like
You
out of control.
watch and see if you go ahead with your flowers.
I'm going to be curious because I did look at the stems before.
Right.
There were no buds, no indication.
All right, there's a little in the middle of where the leaves come out. There's a little funny little brown.
That weren't there.
Okay, well, you may be okay, but it may still be
Titanium.
too late for them to put
Right,
on there.
right,
See,
right.
you may have potential
Right.
there.
No, I know. No.
Yes.
I'll let you know.
You said this spray with diethane M45. Is that
Yeah.
just on azaleas? Because we trim back those
Loropetalums.
we
Yeah.
trim back
Laurel
majorly.
petals.
Loropetalums, you don't have to.
No.
And we had some other shrubs, and when they leafed out, they were real slow to leaf out.
Well,
And
yeah.
then the leaves are small and kind of curl. And And I'm
It's
wondering,
different.
it was a major cutback.
Like 2/3, okay?
Okay, but that's different than
It's just
the
azaleas.
azalea design. It's mainly azalea.
Okay.
Right, that you need to go out and maybe sort that. There may be some other things that crop up, but right now, that's the major. Okay, yeah.
Gerald, I cut back my azaleas, some of them, I cut them back half, okay? I did not use that, but they came out eventually and they look beautiful. Now, the lower petalum, I cut back about 2/3. Cut them down to just where they're sticks almost,
Right.
with just a few little leaves.
Yeah.
And it took about probably, what, 6 weeks? And they're beautiful, okay?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, they're one of the
Top plants.
toughest plants we've got. Some people are even scared of it because it depends on the variety.
The old birds, the old.
Yeah, the old ones got huge.
Yeah.
This guy called me this week and he said his are like 20 feet tall and look
They're
like
trees.
trees. And
Yeah,
he said
they
he
make
just,
trees.
he's
Gerald,
tired of it.
Gerald, we had some lower petalums out the front of our subdivision, and somebody on the board decided to take them down to the ground. They flush cut them. They're beautiful.
Right. And they're pretty tough, but they'll start sprouting up around them too, and that's the thing. But
Couldn't kill them.
but there are varieties that are very good and don't get out of hand. The Crimson Fire is one that stays compact. Purple Pixie, I don't know if y'all even able to get Purple Pixie.
We have purple pixie.
Huh?
Yeah.
We have some.
Now, if you
It's
can
great.
find it, if you can
It's
find it,
great.
that's the problem. There's only one
It's
nursery,
great.
I think, that still grows it.
So why don't they grow anymore?
It doesn't, when you grow it, it has problems in the container.
I haven't seen that
It gets
before.
root rot in the container pretty quick. It's a small plant. So a lot of nurseries just don't want to fool with it. But it is the one that really will stay. I mean,
Yeah,
if it gets that high, that's
It's
huge.
great. You hardly ever have to prune any of it.
All right, right. Okay, I'm gonna try to stay on track. Okay, for gardening, cold crops are great, like, cabbage and broccoli, and Brussels sprouts, a little bit touchy here, but they'll still do. And, cauliflower does better than Brussels sprout, but, it does better for them. But I found out that I can't hardly grow anything where I live because I've got 100-foot pine trees around me. And I get midday sun, but it's not enough. My broccoli heads would be about that big. I was so proud of them. I was going to the grocery store and seeing them this big, and I was saying, what are they doing? And then I went to a yard that had full sun, and he had them that big. I'm going, oh, okay, I know what it is. I know what that sun is. You know, up in Alaska, they grow cabbages that get like 40-pound cabbages because they have the sun for like 18 hours a day or something like that. You know? So that's why more sun. But you do need to start your cold crops early. October is not early. September is, the beginning of September is pretty early. If you can even get them in the last part of August, it's better. But you do struggle with them in the last part of August and September because it's so high. But they still will do. If you'll look in the brochure on Clemson, you plant the seed in like July, and then, but usually don't fool with planting seed just by the plants, but finding the plants early enough is the problem. Well, see, if you start them in the 1st of September, they'll have time to head out and give you good crops by November or so. But I mean, a lot of them will go through the winter. Now, turnips are great, you know, because they'll go through the winter, and mustard and those kind of things. And so there's a lot of stuff you can do in the fall in the garden, and it's fun. All right, you will have worms. You'll see these pretty little white butterflies flying around, and little yellow laying eggs on all that stuff. One of the best products you can get is a natural product called Dipel. I think that's what they've got over there. But it's a natural bacteria that only affects worms that come from a moth. So if you use that periodically, and I use it like once every couple of weeks, and that'll keep the worms off. But Dipel is great and it's natural and it's totally approved for organic gardening.
And that was D-I,
Yeah.
Dipel, D-I-P-E-L.
Right, I'll
Got
try
a
to.
jar of it right
I'll try to get some over there.
Is that the same as BT?
Yes, it's BT. Also, there's BT. Let's see, I don't think, no, we don't have it up here yet. But I'll try to get somebody to bring some over. So, Dipel is a great product. You know, how many got hit with fall armyworms on their lawns?
Well,
It was bad this year, from what I understand. And fall armyworms, you can hardly foresee them. You know, they don't come every year. They'll come about every 5 years. When they come, buddy, they come. And they'll chew you. They love Bermuda grass, that's their favorite. But they'll eat the others too. But you just have to wait and see them. And a lot of times you wake up next morning and you don't have any grass. It's all gone. It's that quick. But the BT or the Dipel will work for that too. There are other things we normally use because getting BT out there is not the easiest way to do it. So fall armyworms are something you need to watch out. Another thing in the fall, and normally they hit like August 21st. Yeah. And it's a worm of the red-headed azalea caterpillar. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he's a caterpillar, a normal caterpillar. He has a red head, so you'll know him. But that BT is also good, bad for him. Good for him, bad for him. So that's another, and it's so natural and it won't hurt anything. So that's a good product. Yes, ma'am.
What about mole crickets in my grass? How do I get rid of them?
Well, they've got a product, I think they've got it up here, it's called, what's that product I brought y'all in the bag, that's for mole crickets? Yeah, Town Star Extra. Okay. Town Star is it's a what you call a synthetic natural. Okay? In other words, pyrethrum is a natural product. Well, Town Star is bifenthrin, which is a manufactured that, so it's pretty safe.
Okay.
But you need the Town Star Extra. If you just use Town Star, mole crickets are tough, but they're one of the toughest things you can deal with. But if you use the one with the extra, and if you hit him from two different directions with the extra, if you hit him from one direction, he'll just keep on coming. But if you hit him with that Town Star Extra, you'll get it.
It's real strange. It's like there's only one little section of my yard. There's the sidewalk and the driveway, and they're right there in that section.
What kind of grass have you got?
Centipede.
Is that bollards?
Well, not centipede, Bermuda. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
no, they love Bermuda.
They love
They
it.
are not crazy about centipede, but they really is.
Yeah,
But they love Bermuda.
yeah. I've had
Well,
them before.
I'll go ahead and put the Town Star Extra on it now.
Okay,
Because if they've been there, they're gonna be there again.
yeah.
They told me a lot of times it was because a light was somewhere close by, and,
Street light?
or a house light or something. It's what it is you will find y'all seen these all over your yard before. It'll be a little pile of dirt. It's not an ant pile. Looks like it's been kind of put out with toothpaste tube in a way. If it's got a hole in the middle, that's
Sure sign.
mulberry.
Right.
If it does not have a hole in the middle, it's a birthmark. So you gotta know if you got a hole in the middle, you put a pencil in it, you got mulberry. Thank you.
It's, we lived in Florida and had mole crickets galore. They said the best time to hit them is after the July hatching and they're young.
Yeah, that's right.
And they said when they're adults, they're harder to kill than
They are. Okay, they go through a life cycle. In the spring is when you normally see that little pile of dirt with a hole in the middle. All right, the male digs that, and he goes down, and then he comes up, and at night, and that's why the light is important, but at night, he'll sit there and sing and call the female to come down with him. And then they breed. Well, July 4th, again, is when they hatch out. So if you do something in that time period with like Telstar Extra, you will get them better because they're not adults. The adult is hard to get, but I don't care. I still treat them because that's one of the toughest lawn pests we have.
Yeah.
Is mulberry. Okay, no pruning in the fall. Okay, this time of year you'll see, well, in August and September, you'll see your azaleas put on a shoot of new growth, and it looks kind of
Weird.
right. If you want to take those off one at a time with hand pruners, that's okay. But just remember, every one of those is going to have a flower in it, and if you're okay with that, because you still will have flowers down in there. But if you're okay with that, it's okay to take those off. Because you're probably not going to stimulate new growth by doing it this late. So you can prune that, but just be careful. Okay, gardening with the cold crops. Anybody have any questions about those? Okay. Now flowers. Okay. My favorite fall, winter flower is pansy. And the thing about pansies, they don't get very high, but buddy, they bloom so good. The sooner you get them in, the better. And they'll establish themselves, and then they'll go all winter. I don't think I've ever seen a winter, I may have seen one or two, that the winter is hurt. Normally, they're just tough as nails. Even when it got 4 below around here, they
That
throw
December
some.
cold?
Huh?
That December cold, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, right. But did it hurt them? This is bad, you know?
I'm in my head right now. and
I don't
it's
think
so
it
bad,
did.
I don't remember the pain.
I don't think it did. Yeah, well, other things.
I know, I don't remember the pain.
But, okay, I learned something about pansies from their supplier. I kept saying, when I put in pansies, they don't do much blooming until spring. They'll sit there, and sit there. And he said, Gerald, let me tell you about pansies. He said, pansies are, I don't know how to say it, but it's according to the day length. They bloom according to the day length. He said, you probably won't get hardly any blooms on a pansy in December, January. Now they are improving that, but the little viola, the little smaller flower, they're not as affected by the day length. So I like them because they seem to give you a lot more flowers. The viola, Johnny Jump Ups, they don't have all kinds of panolas, which is a cross between a viola and a pansy, panola. Is that how you say it, panola? But those will continue blooming too. And it's a little bit bigger flower than viola. You'll see them.
I've just never heard you call that.
Oh, really? Well, there's a lot of varieties of them out there.
No.
But the true pansy majestic giants and all. I think they must have improved those too, because I've seen more flowers in December than I normally did. But just remember that the little violas and panolas, they don't get affected by the short days as much. You know, December 20th is the shortest day of the year, or December 21st. A good friend of mine got married on December 20th, and I said, "What in the world? Why'd you get married then?" I said, "That's so close to Christmas and all." And I said, "That's the shortest day of the year." He said, "Yeah, but that's the longest night." Oh, please. Okay, snapdragons. I wish one of your ladies that knows the flowers was here, because snapdragons is another very good one to plant in the fall, and you can get the low growing snapdragons and you can get the tall ones, and they'll bloom pretty much all winter. So they're real good. There's a lot of other ones that I don't know that your ladies might know, but all right, mums. I'm not a fan of mums, but they're really showy right now. Get them, find when the flower is pretty closed, and then plant them. And the mums they've got now stay so compact and all. They really are nice. But when winter hits, when frost hits, that does it in. That's it. They don't keep blooming like a pansy or something. But they are really showy, and they do a great job. But just cut them back, and they'll come back next year. You know, but they usually won't bloom until fall. Now, sometimes some of these varieties will give you some color through the summer, but most of the time they won't bloom until fall. I think they're day length triggered also, but I'm not sure about it. Okay, flower bulbs. When we first started out 51 years ago, we would stock up with every flower bulb in the book, and we'd sell them, and they would do okay. But when we finally realized that there's mainly daffodils, and any of the daffodil type was by far the best for the southeast. Now you can plant them, and this kind of blew my mind. You think that's a full sun plant? Well, it really is. So you can plant them in full sun and they'll do better. But you can plant them in hardwood shade and they'll do good too, because when the trees lose their leaves, their foliage is up and they're gathering the energy. By the time they gather enough energy and bloom, then the trees leaf out. So they'll still do it hardwood shade, although I still prefer full sun. But just keep that in mind. Now, who plants tulips around here? All right. Tulip is an annual here. It's not really, but it is. We don't get enough color. Okay. Here's what it is. We get on average down here in Aiken County and Richmond County, we get an average of probably 600 to 800 cold hours a winter. Okay, a cold hour is how long it's cold below 45 or 43, somewhere in there. How many hours we get below that temperature. Fruit trees are very much affected by that. You can't plant a Bartlett pear here. You can plant it here, it'll grow just fine. It just won't ever bloom, because it does not get enough cold hours. Or tulips, hyacinths, crocus, those are all need more cold hours than we can give them here. So they'll bloom good the first year, because they've been on cold storage, believe it or not. They bloom good the first year, and after that, little old flower that big and maybe that high, you know. So tulips are really a waste here. Hyacinths the same way.
How about grape hyacinths?
I think grape hyacinths will
They
do.
do, 'cause they'll spread.
I think they'll do.
They'll spread.
They'll spread.
There are a few little, what we call minor bulbs that do well for you, but you just need to know what they are. You know that spider lily?
Oh, yeah, I know.
That was funny. Well, do y'all know what a spider lily is? Well,
So what about irises? When's a good time?
iris do great.
Yeah, they do wonderful, like
Yes.
big. When can I start dividing? I need to cut
Now.
it out.
Now.
Now?
Now's a good time.
And I go in and cut the leaves off and.
Cut them off and leave them about that much, and then plant them back real shallow, like they were. They don't almost put them on top of the ground. What's that?
Don't cover them.
No, don't cover. Real shallow.
Don't mulch them.
I hope I'm not missing y'all over here. Okay. But iris are great around here, and daffodils, and there's a few others too. But don't go for the tulips and the unless you plan on being an ant. Okay, fertilizing bulbs. We traditionally were using bone meal. Okay. When bone meal first came out, that's exactly what it was. It was bone meal. They ground up bones, and it had all kind of nutrition in it. But now what you get is what we call steamed bone meal, where they steam all the goodie out of it. And all you have left in it is the middle number, the phosphorus. So bone meal is not really what we think it should be. So if you fertilize with bone meal, that's okay for the middle number. But the best thing to do is use that 12-month feed or the 3 to 4 month feed, because it's got all the nutrients in it and it will feed them good. So when you start seeing the greenery come up, put a little fertilizer around it. You put bone meal too, but bone meal's all in the middle number. And but when we first got it, I mean, it stunk, the bone meal did. But now they steamed all the stink out of it, and that's all the goody also. So we don't get it much when we get bone meal anymore. But fertilize your bulbs with a complete fertilizer. That's the complete one over there. You know, this fertilizer, here it is right here. Sell it in 50-pound bags. It's $21.49. We literally use it on everything in the yard. I've not found anything you can't use it on. I swear.
It will make anything grow.
Right.
I've used it for, how long have I been coming to these
Probably
seminars,
20 years.
right?
Yeah.
Forever. My yard, I can stick anything in the ground and it will grow.
Right. But it's why it's so good. There's several reasons. First of all, it is a 12-month release. People say, well, how often do I have to put it out? I said, once a year. Okay, it's a 12-month release. Okay. You say, well, if I fertilize my vegetables, that's going to make them grow too fast. I said, well, all right, let's calculate this out. That's a 12-month release. 21.49, about 21 divided by 12 gives you less than 2% a month, right? Okay. So it will work on a tomato plant. Very good on a tomato. And it'll bloom and bear. But and then the middle, here's another great quality of it. The middle number is phosphorus. Okay, phosphorus is notorious for moving very slow in the soil. In other words, a quarter of an inch a year. So it does not perk down. And, you know, like nitrogen, the first number, the last number, they dissolve pretty quick. This one, of course, the 12 month lasts long. But this one also dissolves quick. The middle number, which no other fertilizer is that way. Well, the 3 to 4 month is that way. It's a special phosphorus that dissolves and gets out of your soil. Like if you put 10-10-10 on your grass, on your yard, which is the cheapest fertilizer, the first year you put out 10-10-10. The second year you put out 10-20-10. The third year you put out 10-30-10. because that middle of it is going to gradually build up. Not gradually, it's going to build up pretty quick. So the thing about 10-10-10 and most other fertilizers, the first number lasts you 3 weeks. Not 3 months, 3 weeks. Now you get a slow release fertilizer, a Scotch or something that says slow release, it may last you 6 weeks. But it's not going to last you anything like this 12 to 14 month fertilizer. It's going to last you 12 to 14 months. We've tried that. One of my customers put it on his horse pasture, 47 bags that year, and when he put it out, I told my salesman about it. At $100 a bag, y'all. When I told my salesman, he said, "Well, Gerald, the funny thing about that is because it's not under irrigation every day, it's going to last you 3 or 4 years." And it did. He said his horse pasture stayed green for 3 or 4 years because it's so slow releasing. It's not under irrigation every day. It's what it was. It was the commercial fertilizer we used to put in our containers. And we tweaked it a little bit. He got the way I liked it. So now we sell it to you. And it is absolutely incredible. It's wonderful stuff. It's not organic, but it's not going to build up in your soil and make things toxic. It's also got all your minor elements. There's 6 minor elements in soil: zinc, iron, molybdenum, copper, boron, and manganese that the plants need. No other fertilizer that I've seen on the market has that in it. This is the only one that has it in it. And it's in a real minor form. It's just enough that it is what they need. Who knows the plant needs copper? It does. Or more rubber. So it's got a little bit of copper in it. And manganese, then your lime's got the magnesium in it, but manganese is another more minor element. So that fertilizer is going to, but it works on bulbs, it works on cold crops like broccoli, cabbage, all that, great. It works on tomato plants, which is amazing to me because you put 10-10 on a tomato plant, it'll grow this tall without any flowers on it because it's just all that vigorous nitrogen that's making it grow. But this one will make it grow and set flowers. It's the best rose food you can ever buy. I've had that told to me by one of the top rose growers in the United States. It is the best azalea food you'll ever get because it'll keep them going through the fall. And it won't let them drop their leaves and all and turn yellow. Okay, got the bulbs, cold crops. Okay, people call me all the time. When should I cut my sprinklers off? They call me in November, and I'm going, please use your head, please, please. What is the driest month of the year? It is. You're right. How do you know that? Oh, I did. Okay. November is the driest month of the year on the average for southeast our area. You think, well, August or something like that, but a lot of times. But this year, I'm telling you what, August and September have been horrible dry. We've been getting, my son will call me and say, "How much rain did we get last night?" I said, "We got not 110, we got 100 last night." And that's not even, you can't count that because it's so
Cloudburst.
Right.
One cloud.
Right, one cloud, and it burst over your house and not over mine.
That's right.
Or it burst over their house and not over ours. That's probably what it was. Yes, sir.
I had a question. You said when you should not fertilize lawns in the fall.
Right.
But I've been using atrazine, actually.
Okay, atrazine.
That's not a fertilizer.
But it's for a weed killer and a fertilizer.
No, it's 007. And if you read it, it's no nitrogen, no phosphorus, it's just 7, and the 7 is okay. It says weed and feed, but it is not a weed, it's not a feed.
It's a weed.
It's confusing, and I called the company and I said, why can't we just get straight atrazine? He said, it's complicated. He said, we have to add something to it, and we add potash.
So it's basically a weed though.
Yes, it is, that's it. It is just
Yeah,
weed.
I put it on in February.
No, you put it, you need to put it on now too.
Yeah, November and then February.
There's a product they sell here, it's we call it 007 atrazine, but it is a pre-emergent for the fall. Okay, now I haven't even hit on pre-emergent grass. All right, pre-emergent means that it prevents it from, it kills the seed as it sprouts. Okay, it does not kill the seed, so you can't just put it on willy-nilly any time. But it kills the seed as it sprouts. Okay, they sell it in a winterizer over here, but I still prefer atrazine, and they sell atrazine too. But atrazine, it will work both ways. In other words, 99% of the pre-emergence, if you don't get it on before the weed sprouts, you're not going to kill it.
Right.
So you got to do it. It's real critical to do it at like the end of September, the 1st of October. Very critical. Probably the end of September. So you need to get your pre-emergence out now. Now the good thing about atrazine, it is forgiving because it will kill it as it sprouts, but it will also kill it as an immature plant. So by getting it on in October, November, you're still pretty safe. Yes.
It usually takes about 3 weeks to really take effect.
Yes.
If you want to kill weeds with it.
Right.
It's slower, that's what I was gonna say, it is
Right.
Yeah.
slower.
All right, y'all understand, like for, there's a little weed called Poana, and I'm not saying southern like Poana. It is P-O-A-A-N-N-U-A. What it is, it's called annual bluegrass, but it's the botanical name is Poa annua. And you'll have this little pretty little grass coming all up in your wall all winter long. If you don't get something on it quick, now, you're going to have that problem. So if you use the atrazine, that 007, that will prevent it from coming up and having a problem on it. We have a few areas have got it immune to atrazine. So if you think you're one of those that you've tried atrazine and it wasn't working, you need to get something on now, though. If you don't get it on now, forget it. Yes.
What about to treat for burrgrass? I've heard all different kinds of schedules.
Thank you. That's very good. I got to rethink. That's all right. She's talking about burrgrass or what's another name for it? It's not sandspur, but it's burweed. What do you call it now?
Burrgrass.
Burweed. All right. It has a little hand. Looks about like that, but it's quarter of an inch. And it comes up now too. So you need to put out something for that now. The problem is you don't have the problem until it dies in May. And then you see these little brown things in your feet, your socks and all, and it's bad. But you can't prevent it with the atrazine.
And one treatment or one?
I would do a couple of treatments. All right, the atrazine, we normally want to put it out now or in October, and then again in February and March, and that kind of gets it prevented. So you want to do it those 2 times to get burweed. And Poana is the only thing I've ever found. I mean, atrazine is the only thing I found out there that will get Poana once it's up. There is something real expensive, it's $95 for a little tiny bottle, that will get it, but we don't want to go there. So if you can get ahead of the game, pre-emergent, remember, you got to get it before it comes up. And when the nights start getting in the 50s is when it triggers calamity. So we actually saw a few nights back in August in the 50s, but most of the time it waits till about now, October. So you got to do that. Okay, irrigation systems. Please use your head on thinking about irrigation. You don't have to, when it starts getting cool, you don't have to run it near as much, maybe a couple of times a week. And then in November, you can almost cut it off. Now, you don't want to just cold turkey if it's still really warm, cut it off. But normally by then we are getting maybe a little rain. Of course, November, like I said, is the driest month of the year. But you don't want to keep running that water all the time. Okay, we have a problem that is hitting South Carolina and Georgia and North Carolina with crepe myrtle. I wish I had some slides to show you, but I don't. But it's called crepe myrtle bark scale. If you have a crepe myrtle and underneath it you're seeing black sooty stuff on the shrubs and on the ground around it, you look up in the tree and it's very obvious as these white little pustules all up on the limbs and everything. It's called crepe myrtle bark scale. Now it will normally not kill a crepe myrtle, but it will keep it from blooming, which is what we got the crepe myrtle for. Well, I called Dr. Chung last week, clinical entomologist, and I knew what to do for it because we've been talking about it years. See, for the longest, it's only been in South Carolina since 1960. It hasn't been here long, but he kept telling me, he said, Gerald, it's in Columbia, it's not in North Augusta yet. Well, not last year, but the year before, I had 3 clients come to me and they had it bad. When did you have it?
Well, I have it now, and obviously I let it go until I don't know, maybe a month ago, I looked up and went, what the?
Right.
I just didn't pay attention. It's only on one of my 4 or 5 crepe myrtles. It's alone by itself.
Right. But not on the rest of us.
So it got way ahead of me.
Right. Well, I was in a yard, last week. Yeah, this is last week. And she had it bad, and her neighbor, both neighbors on both sides had it. This is over here on Walnut Lane in North Augusta. Well, I can spray because I've got this thing that blows up 30 feet, but who's got that? You can't say. But there is a lot easier way to do it. Okay, this right here is a systemic drench. Okay, I haven't figured out the cost of it yet, but it's what you do is you measure around the trunk at chest height. Okay. Not everybody keeps a tape in the pocket like I do. But you see a trunk at chest high. All right, well, on crepe myrtle you might have multiple trunks. And most of them were this big on that tree, 6 of them. That's that's 21 inches. So 21 inches times, how many did I say? 6. I had figured it.
126.
Yep. So it takes an ounce per inch of trunk circumference.
21.
No.
21
We're
times 6.
done 6.
121 ounces.
Right.
Mayor, well,
Yes. This one is 1.47%. I didn't see a bear over there.
but the mayor will work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you pour that, all right, now here's the timing of that. That's important. The timing, when the leaves start emerging is the best time to apply.
Right.
And that'll probably those leaves start putting out, that's when you put it out. Now, if you miss that, still do it anyway.
But right now, we
No.
do nothing.
Don't do it now.
Nothing, but we do nothing.
You could do it now, but it's not gonna do as much good.
I did, I'm all systemic. I read HGIC, and it said systemic, but it said the spring, so that, I mean,
Right,
I could
okay.
do crepe myrtle.
What I would do now, no, don't do crepe myrtle because
I'm sorry.
that, y'all know what crepe myrtle is.
I know.
That's whacking that tree back like these bowling
That's
club
what,
guys
because the
do.
bigger part
Well,
that.
that actually encourages.
Oh, I had no idea.
It encourages the problem. You think, well, I'm gonna cut it out and get rid of it. No, it actually makes it stresses the tree and when you stress a tree, it puts hormones out, or it's almost like a pheromone, and it draws the problem. So don't stress your trees. But, if this stuff will work, now it's better, I forgot to pull, there's a product called bifenthrin, well, I don't know what y'all got over there, but there's another product bifenthrin that you can spray up in the tree now. It will help with what we call the crawlers, because they hatch out, hopefully we only have two life cycles a year with it, which is now and in May and June on the 2 life cycles. You can spray up in there with bifenthrin. That'll help. In other words, you hit the little new ones in the head then.
Where folks are oil in the winter after all the leaves fall, will that work?
It'll help, but not a lot.
Not a lot.
He researched that too. He wasn't real hopeful on
So systemic is the best.
Yeah, he said that's not wrong. So by pouring it around the base of the tree, follow the directions, water it in a little bit, but don't water it in too much because you want it to stay around those roots right there. It'll tell you how to use it. You might not even have to water it in.
So right around the base or at the.
Right in that area. Don't go way out. Stay right in that area and put the concentrates right there. That should handle you for a whole year. Now, once you've got infestation, you're still going to see some problems. It is best to spray and do that with the bifenthrin. But mainly do this to prevent it, and then you won't have the infestation. But if you already have the infestation, you might better look and see if they've got stuff for the crawlers overlay, which you spray twice. He says you have to spray 2 times each time. In other words, in April, May, you have to spray it once, and then the fall, you have to spray it twice. But if you can prevent it, that's the best thing for all.
Couldn't prevent it, what do we do? After
You
I
think-
got it, and I get rid of it, how do I not get it again? You keep putting that down every year.
Every year.
Does that affect the pollinators?
It will not. Okay, that's going to be a big
No.
argument. But this stuff, it won't tell you on this label, but on some of the commercial labels, it is labeled for a lot of vegetables. And you say, well, this is a systemic, it's going to come up my flowers and in my fruit. No, it won't. It'll only go in the foliage, in the stem. Of course, they're not going to have that on the label. It's going to affect the fruit, especially, but it's not going to be on the label to affect pollinators too. It will even tell you on there, if you read the labels, real fine labels, it'll show you whether it'll affect the pollinator or not. No, we don't want, listen, I kept these for a long time. I don't want to affect pollinators. We need we can't do without those. We need bees. We need all kind of pollinators. Yes, sir.
I have a dwarf crepe myrtle, and I guess I thought I had sooty mole.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing, or is it?
Okay, it could be that, or it could be aphids. But if you'll look, you'll see the scale insect. You'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's flight pocket.
Yeah, I see those.
Right. Well, that's what it is. Now, there are certain, no, this is what's going on. It comes in ports too, I think. But, it's a serious problem. Crepe myrtle is one of our major flowering plants for the summer. And I'm going, whoa, 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 you know what we're gonna do? I can treat, because I've got a pesticide license, and I can get, this one is 1.47%, I can get 75%. I can, y'all can get that. But, I can treat trees too. But, so, if you need me, I can do it. I also do landscape designs. If y'all need any landscape designs, I still do that. I also come out in yards, do consultation. In other words, you got problems, you don't know what's happening in your yard, I can do that. I can tell you, you know, where to put grass and where not to put grass. That's one of my main things when I do design. So you don't, in other words, when I design, I try to design my grass so that it doesn't get affected by the shade of the trees, and it doesn't put grass under trees where the trees don't like it and the grass doesn't like it. But I try to shape it up where it doesn't have to. Y'all done a good audience. Yes.
I want to do some division. Long and versus long after they die back.
Okay, normally you do that. Now with months, I think I would do that in spring. With fertilization, I'll probably do that. Normally you divide things on the opposite seasons they bloom. So herbs are bloom in spring, so we would in the fall. But I tell you what, I would Google that. Because I'm not a perennial person.
Gerbers can really get hurt by the cold,
Well,
and I'm really worried this time of year they get hurt by the
That's what
cold.
I would think. That's why I would Google it, and I would even Google Clemson or University of Georgia.
Gerbers is still pruning.
I know. I would think in the spring on them too.
I think so, yeah. The cold really.
I kind of wait till the leaves die, and then they kind of self-prune.
Right.
Yeah.
But then too, they're not the hardiest winter plant we've got, like I say. That's why I would probably do it in February, March.
Yeah, March. Now wait till the cold is up there.
All right. Well, y'all behave real good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gerald. We appreciate it very much. Just a quick reminder, I believe every weekend in October, we've got something going on down here just to kind of,
All right.
you know, get into the fall spirit. So y'all check our Facebook page at Grassroots Gardening. I'm sorry, that's our YouTube channel, which, by the way, if you missed anything today or any of the past presentations by either Mr. Gerald or Brother Ted or anybody that we've had is on the YouTube channel. Check our Facebook, and we appreciate you guys, and happy gardening.